Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Our course says Ben got tangled up in the wires again. Yep, that's me. I have just rapidly uninstalled the app that connects my phone to my PC because, hey, I spend my time on my phone, not my PC, or not my laptop at least. I am pausing that, and we're here. Da, 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 da. I have not gone off for some coffee, although I did have a quick drink of water. And immediately we're still using 99% of my CPU. This is frustrating. I need to buy another computer that's going to just sit in here that's dedicated for this with nothing on it except live streaming stuff. I have paused the Adobe Creative Cloud. I have stopped everything that can possibly be doing anything. And it's just not working. So there we go. I don't know. Okay. Anyhow, if this does not fix it, then we're gonna have to just call it a day. Aracor says Ben needs a producer there taking care of the buttons. Lol. I have seriously considered exactly that. I really do enjoy doing these live streams, and it's, from the point of view of the company, it's worth doing because I'm talking to people and answering questions about our products and about what we're doing. It fills me with joy. I love doing it, except for this part. If it doesn't go wrong, if it goes wrong, it's just intensely frustrating. Anyway, now let me know. So it's definitely better. It's definitely better, but not dying. Okay, cool. Partington's Wood Shop. I've not seen you on here before. Thanks for all the advice the other week about... Oh, I have seen you on here before. Dope. Thanks for the advice the other week about oil for my mosaic skull. Oh, there we go. Yes, I finished 2 skulls with oil so far, and they look awesome. Send me I'm on Instagram at the real Ben Crowe. Send me mention me on that, on a photograph of one of those. I would love to see them. Or email me stream@crimsonguitars.com and I'll have a look. Hugh McKay says, would you rather do a YouTube hurdy-gurdy build or be annoyed by somebody asking every week for all eternity? At the moment, keep on asking. Yeah, at the moment, keep on asking. I will do hurdy-gurdy at some point. Thank you very much, George Davis. I am far from the best. Ray Candle says, burn it. Yeah, this is the perfect end to this week. It really just has been bad. Sound and vision is already out of sync. It's a weird one. Okay. Look, we're just going to deal with it. Ask me questions. Okay. You guys think up some questions. Put them in the chat. Yeah. So Creever is saying CPU load is not bad, etc. It's normally the settings. These are the same settings that I've been using for the last 10 or 15 live streams, and that's the thing. When the CPU is at 100%, I start dropping kilobytes per second, and it's an issue. Stephen Fines has come in with $5 and said, what is a good way to patch melted lacquer from the application of the next layer? There is no good way really to do it. So it depends very much on the lacquer that you've got, but in the end, I don't think... Yeah. This computer thing is distracting me. If you've got an issue with lacquer burning through and obvious patches of issues, then really I have never seen a way that will fix that invisibly, and that's the problem. Best way to get super glue off of your fingers. I actually don't have huge amounts on me right now. There is a Starbond debonder glue remover, and I was using this the other day, or yesterday at least, when I did this to the phone. It is insured, it will be fixed, and I've got another one over at the house. I just need to swap them around. I had both the sort of pattern, which didn't work because of that, and the fingerprint sensor. And of course, both of my thumbs were covered in super glue, and neither of those two options were working for me. It was intensely frustrating. I ended up having to go into my sort of account at the back end on the internet to remove all of the locking things. Just technical issues this week are the bane of my life. Uriel Sage says, "Hi Ben, how can I go about figuring out my bridge placement on a traditional Strat with 6-screw bridge? I use templates and they're not marked for bridge screws. I haven't made the neck yet. Thanks." Start with the neck. The bridge is pretty much the last thing I ever do. In fact, I get it in the neck a lot of times on YouTube when I do my bridge after I've applied the finish even, which technically is not really the right way to go. But get your neck made, put the neck in, and then you've got your scale length absolutely fixed. Your base saddle needs to be about 2 millimeters behind the nominal scale length. Say it's a Fender 648 millimeters, and the treble E needs to be pretty much bang on, or maybe just a little bit shy. You do want to have 2 or 3 millimeters of play either way if you can. Sean Forsyth says, "What are some good brands of router bits?" I particularly like Radian router bits. They're a UK company, albeit the bits are manufactured in China, I suspect, but they are incredibly good quality. Trend make very good router bits, and those are the only two brands that actually come to mind because I'm so bad with names. But those are two that I use a lot. The thing to look out for is the more blades the better. So a 3 or a 4 flute cutter is better. It cuts smoother, and then a blade, a flute, a helical cutter head. Again, instead of smacking into the wood and essentially hitting chunks off, it's a slicing motion as it goes around, and it's much smoother, much quieter, and works better. So for big things, go from there. Stepbro says, "Has anyone brought up the headstock yet?" Lol. Yeah, the headstock was changed this morning through... Yeah, leave me alone. Get out of my live stream. Mud at M Cubed Custom Woodworks says, "I use pure acetone for super glue removal." That is actually a good point. That works just as well. In fact, I suspect that this contains acetone from the smell. It doesn't say, but yeah. Okie dokie. Dissectotron, fantastic name, says, "What are your thoughts on guitars / basses with stereo outputs?" That is more a musical choice than a maker choice. I will build any instrument that a musician wants, pretty much. And I used to have a Marshall 5050 stereo head and a couple of 1x12 cabs that went with it, so I could have, cabs on either side and do things with it. I never used it properly, just never did. Okay, Homegrown Sun says, "Will using a 3x3 tilt back headstock on a Telecaster help or hurt with tone and tuning, or make little difference at all?" It won't make very much difference, to be honest. No, it won't make much difference. As long as you've got... It will be a little bit more stable. The strings will have a different feel to them because the string length is a little bit different. The actual amount of string on the guitar is a little bit different. I don't understand the physics of that whole thing, but yeah. Okay, Richard Garnish, who's one of our YouTube members, said AVE did a short video only a couple of weeks ago on the exact topic of removing superglue from your fingers. Do you know what I need to do? I need to go and just sculpt these guys' ideas, because I could make a video on that. Bring it on. Jose Benito Martinez Jr. Says greetings from Hollywood, California. Long-time subscriber, first-time comment. Welcome. What's your view on luthiers who say this is a AAA grade tops on acoustic guitars? Is it all visual? It is not all visual. In fact, there are some AAA, 4A, 5A grade spruce tops. For example, that bear claw effect. A lot of people like that bear claw thing, and I think it's ugly as hell. I really don't like it. No, the quality of the top is as much to do on acoustic guitars with the grain as anything else, and it's not visual. If you have got a very, very, very tight grain, it's all slow growth spruce. So the best, we've got spruce growing in the UK, but I could never use it for a guitar top because the grain is so far apart, because during the summer the tree grows really fast, or the spring I suppose, and you've got a lot of growth, and then it stops in winter and you've got the hard grain line. Spruce that we want to use, and western red cedar, etc., that we want to use for guitars, grows on mountainsides where you've got a very small growth period, and the grain, there's not a huge gap between grains, and it's all straight and it's all very, very uniform, and that gives a better sound, period. So yeah, there we go. Pete Tessie Man's coming with £10. Thank you very much, Pete. He says no question, just thanks for all your great videos. That makes the the bullshit of this live stream nonsense with the computer better. Guess what I'm going to be doing on, well, yeah, if I can't fix this, I'm not doing one on Sunday, I'll tell you that much. Thank you very much. Eugenius the Great, another YouTube member, says any chance of a cello build? I don't think... Not a traditional cello, no, I don't think so. I, however, do want to build an instrument similar to... I did a repair on a viola da gamba / guitar kind of instrument this year. Absolutely loved the repair, really liked the instrument, and I'm gonna do that. Gio Gonzalez says, have you built a guitar that was iffy with copyright violations, like copying a licensed model from specs? We have had cease and desists from Gibson and from PRS actually, but 9 times out of 10, or even 9.999 times out of 10, that is a random law firm that they have hired just to chase anybody that may even possibly be, and it's more of shakedown than anything else. So our SRP kit was a little bit too close to PRS's model for their liking, and they asked us to stop it, so we adjusted it and changed the shape a little bit, and it was all very amicable. It's just, hey, we think this is a little bit too close for comfort, do you mind changing it? Well, it was a change it or we'll sue you kind of a thing, but we changed it and it was done. Gibson we actually just ignored, and it went away. So yeah. Homegrown Son says, I'm sure someone would trade a decent computer without issues for a Crimson guitar. Just saying. That's the problem. This is a decent computer, and any PC that lives in this workshop would have to be in a hermetically sealed box. I don't know. I'm going to look into it. Anybody got any tips for me on this? How about an electric cello with a Millennium Falcon body? That might be a little bit clickbaity. Yeah. Random chasing of copyrights happen to even those not copying. That's the thing. And there are so many guitars that are just evolutions of other models that you can't not. How many times have you written a song and you've been really happy with it, and then the first person you play it to says, oh, that sounds like something that, I don't know, Tool did or whatever. The Milkman says, recommendations on multiple size bridge clamps for acoustic / classical guitars. Also, how's the guitar body with all that binding looking? Loving this build. The current... It looks like this. This has to be complete by the end of the weekend. It has to be a finished, functional playing guitar at the very latest by Monday morning. I can do it. I am very, very much looking forward to it. Adam Bartram says dust extraction before the fan. Yeah. Okay, Jimmy Griffin, yeah, we have got huge issues tonight for some reason. I don't know what is causing it, but we've got the same settings and the latency is just dead. Aussie Talking says, criticism, bring it on. I'd rather not watch half an upload of you drawing, rubbing out, repeat times 10, edit 2. After much thought, I've come up with this. By the way, your headstock on GGBO is very Sadiq Khan. Unfortunately, it's changed. Or fortunately. I have a big issue with... I could so easily do nothing. You guys wouldn't see a single video or live stream or anything like that. And I could spend a month doing a build, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then give all of that footage to the editor, and we could come out with a single 25-minute video of here is Ben building a matchstick guitar. I've got 10,000 matchsticks in there that I really want to do that to at some point. Yeah, it would be fun. And clickbaity, and that video would probably get, I don't know, 150, 200,000 views, maybe, if it's particularly, you know, or a whole lot more, and we'd earn a bit more ad revenue, I suppose, on that. But I would die a little bit inside. What I do is try and teach as much as humanly possible, and part of that teaching is the process. And how did I arrive at this design of headstock? How did I get to this shape? And I also find it boring, but a lot of people are also learning. And what I'm trying to say is that I walk a very fine line between an educational video that is, you know, helping more people than not, and something that's boring as all hell. And Talitha and I are getting much, much better at that. But yes, I would rather you weren't bored, to be frank. However, we are also talking about... Sorry, we have chapters now in every single video. So if there's a bit of it that is boring to you, unless you are watching it the second it goes live, you almost certainly will have chapters. And that's in the description, and it'll say, hey, from here to here, Ben's drawing the design. If you just want to skip, click on the link in that description, and it'll take you to the next stage, and we can move on without wasting anybody's time. Neil Flanack says, hey Ben, I'm in the process of building my first bass and have a Bubinga fretboard. Does it require a finish, or should I leave it natural? I would... Bubinga is fantastic natural. You can put a little bit of oil on it if you want to, just to make the grain pop. But yeah, it's one of those woods that doesn't necessarily actually need anything. I would suggest making it pop a little bit with some oil, but that's just for the look of things rather than anything else. Okay. Sharikov 2814 has come in with a nearly $30 super chat. Thank you very, very much. And And he says, have a few coffees on me. I absolutely bloody will. At this stage, I'm going to go up to the house and sort of drown myself. I've got some coffee liqueur, a sort of a local artisanal coffee liqueur that actually is calling my name tonight. Okay, he says, or she says, I've never built a guitar, but I've been watching you for a while now, and I'm ordering my first kit this summer. Congratulations. Thanks for the inspiration and great videos. Look, it's an absolute pleasure. I love what I do. I love the fact that people watch me and get hooked on building guitars and end up making instruments. That I'm actually making an impact. The world is a different place due to what I do. That is fucking awesome. And it wouldn't happen without you guys. So thank you. And thank you for the coffee fund too. Tutum Carmen says, best fix for the computer, a big hammer. I'm wondering... Oh, God. Okay. I'm going to run a test over the weekend, literally just using my phone as the live stream thing. People stream from phones all the time. I'm not going to use this software that I paid $700 for. I'm not going to use the £3,000 bloody computer I bought specifically for the live streams. I'm going to use my phone, and I'll use the computer to have a look at the things, and we'll see what the quality of that looks like. And if it's better, I'm going to be pissed. It's going to be better, isn't it? Anyhow, look, we're coming up on 8 o'clock. I started it off for 6. That's about an hour and a half. If you have any questions, I know that there's a delay in the audio and all that jazz, but if there is, give me a huge load of questions and I'll answer them, and then we'll call it a night. Aussie Talking says, Australia is the perfect guitar shape. Just leave out Tasmania. What? So in all seriousness, I built a guitar for Triton Power Tools for their, I think it was for their channel. Oh, of course I'm dropping my pen off the floor because I'm a fool. And because Triton used to be an Australian company, I inlaid Australia and Tasmania at the 12th fret. And yeah, it is quite attractive. So there we go. Bonehead Guitars has come in. How's it going, dude? He says, long time no chat. Rab Knox says, can't beat a bit of Tassie at Aussie Talking. Tasmanian Blackwood's a fantastic timber. You can get some really gorgeous... Tutum Carmen says, I am actually a computer engineer and I'm happy to help. Hit me up, stream@crimsonguitars.com. I honestly would need some advice because this is now... I bought the most powerful laptop that I could that wasn't an Apple device because I'm not... Why? Because I'm pig-headed and I don't want to get on the Apple bandwagon, so there we go. For whatever it's worth. But anyway, hold on. Randall Gilbert says, and thank you very much for the offer, Tutum Carman. Randall Gilbert says, could a comfortable guitar be built around horse collar hames with brass knobs for horns? I don't know what you're talking about. So I shall Google it. Okay. Potentially. I have seen guitars made out of toilet seats before, and it's not a dissimilar shape. Yeah, I don't see why not. Now, Mr. Waffles says, I resisted the Apple cult for ages, finally gave in, it's just easier. I don't know. The problem is I'm on a Samsung phone. I've got a Microsoft computer, and yeah, Tutankhamun says Apple are overrated in my humble opinion. Well, if you're a computer guy, you are probably running neither Microsoft nor Apple. You're on... The name has completely escaped me. Oh, crikey, I was going to come across as all intelligent and shit there. Mr. Waffles says, I'm an application architect for a company that uses AI in the medical space. Lol. Wow. Okay. Actually, you know, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. If you there was one point where something like 70% of the students in our school at Crimson Guitars that came through were IT professionals in one way or another. We've had professional game developers through to people working for the MOD, sorting out rockets and aeroplanes and stuff, to the heads of multi-million pound companies in the IT space. There's just something about spending all day creating something in a computer that makes you want to, as soon as you turn the computer off, make something physical, and guitars seem to be one of the things. Aussie Talking says, like the smash button. I like it. Okay, Michaelides says, did you finish Nebula and not air it yet? No, Nebula is under finish at Crimson Guitars. I told them not to rush it. I told them to just get a perfect finish until my GGBO was finished. I'm finishing GGBO this weekend. I am going to be taking a couple of weeks off, guys. I am wiped out. But I will be coming back with Nebula afterwards, and then I've got a watch-inspired build, and yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on. Creever says, Ben, when you are on vacation after the GGBO, will you keep the live streams up, or will you just take the time for yourself and the family? Not mad if you do so, you need a break. Live streams, actually, I think I will keep up. I will keep the live streams going. This notwithstanding. If I did not come into my workshop at all, and if I didn't interact with you people at all, it would take a lot shorter than 2 weeks for me to go absolutely batshit insane, or more batshit insane. I've normally, when this isn't going wrong, I feed on this. It really gives me energy. So I will be doing live streams, and we'll go from there. Linux is the one. Jonathan Oakey. Hey, Jonathan. Speaking of the devil, how's it going? And yeah, Jonathan says, still resisting the Apple cult, and I always will. Linux is great if all you do is work on your computer. Very powerful, huge pain in the ass. I tried to set up a couple of Linux sandbox instances in order to test various things, and just never. No. Utterly beyond me. Utterly. Derek Colton is one of our members, and one of the benefits of being a member is that in these live chats, your name is bright green, and it actually brings my attention to your question. It says, is there any kind of magic ratio neck length to body size, or is it all the optics of the creator? One thing you need to worry about is the balance and how neck heavy it is. So the space behind the bridge is quite important to pull the neck into the correct position. But other than the physical constraints of where your bridge goes and all of that jazz, and where your strap buttons are to help the balance, no, not really. It's just down to what you fancy doing, really. Franz Truter says, evening everyone, seems I missed a lot. I would love to know how you're getting this symbol on your keyboard, and it's great. He's another member. Magic Music Adams says, computer programmer here. I also avoid Apple. I code on Windows and Linux and run a recording studio on Windows. Got rid of my iPad because it was terrible. My sister, who does the editing, she won an iPad on the internet. I was like, no you didn't, it's a scam. And then she got the iPad through, and she'd actually won an iPad for something. But yeah, anyway. David Markham says, I see myself out. I assume he uses Apple. I don't know. At this point, so it's very much the same thing. This is not a guitar-based comment at all. I used to utterly denigrate CNC. And the reason why one of the reasons was I could never see myself being able to afford a CNC machine. I could never see myself being able to run a CNC machine. And I now have 5 or 6 of them. 5 real ones, and this is a small one that we don't really use very much. And I'm incredibly lucky that I've got to a point where I can afford them to a certain extent, and I can use them because I've got other people using them for me. And it was the same thing with Apple. It was like, oh, Apple, you've got to have Apple to be with the in crowd. And I'm like, I'm not going to be in with a bloody in crowd. Bloody heckin' freaking no thank you. I'm channeling my 12-year-old there. It's just become a habit. So I've got oppositional defiance disorder. If everybody tells me I need to go and watch that movie, I'm probably not going to watch that movie. It's the way it goes. Felipe Zerane has just joined as a new member. Welcome to Cool Beans. Welcome to the club. Ubuntu was a lot easier to use from Alan Barnes. I tried Ubuntu. I tried Chameleon. I don't know, multiple things, but it was just beyond me. And there we go. Okay. Now, an Ecuador de guitars is in. All right, guys. Look, I'm going to call this a Aussie talking, typical Aussie. Girth is what matters. I am going to call this a day. You have got 1 minute to hit me with as many questions as you want, and then I'm going to call it a day from there and go and cry in a corner because this has just... Yeah. I hate doing anything that is not the absolute best quality that it can be, and if the stream is not the best quality, then it just fills me with pain. Creeverai says, Ben wants questions, he gets questions. Drilling and screwing into epoxy. What drill? Brad point? Should I use? And will my wood screw for the tuner hold in epoxy? Wait a week until fully cured? Okay, so it doesn't matter. No, not necessarily a Brad point. Just a standard twist drill, but a good quality one will be fine. Yes, the screw will hold. Again, it's the same as any other material. Just make sure that you've drilled the hole that is correct. So if the screw is 2mm, you want a 1.5mm hole. If you've got the opportunity, run a test beforehand. Richard Garnish says, I am a Linux fanboy as well as it being my job, but don't bother trying Linux for live streaming. No, I believe you. I've tried WebRoot. So the only security software I've actually got on here since we're working is Microsoft's own Windows security, basically, which I might be able to turn off. But the issue is that I'm using the same settings and the same everything as I have for the last 10 or 15 live streams, and there's been no issues. And then today we just are shit out of luck. Okay, Matthias Lindgren says, are there particular processes to send or bring wood from the EU to the UK? For example, bringing wood to your courses, etc. No, not that I know of. You need to talk to Sam via office@crimsonguitars.com, and he will tell you. But we get wood from around the world. There may be an issue with import tax and things like that. You can bring it in your luggage, I'm sure of that. But talk to Sam because he deals with that sort of stuff all the time. Sam, Ricky, or maybe even Josh will help you there. Here we go. Justin Pep Mueller says, for your GGBO build, would it have been possible to go headless but make an outline of a headstock with just binding? So it turns out that the binding was just far too brittle once the glue and everything had cured, and it actually shattered on me this morning. You'll see that in tomorrow's video. Going headless, though, is actually still even an option. No, it's not really. No. Although that didn't occur to me. I have a headless tremolo system here that I could use. Okay. Homegrown Son says, do you like and use the freeway 6-way switch, and if so, do you like it? I've never used it. I've never felt the need. Personally, as a player, it would confuse me, I think. Then again, I mean, I can play Xbox, so why would it confuse me? I think it'll be fine. But no, I haven't tried it. Okay. Garage Master Guitar says, I have an Iron Hill 25 litre compressor. Can I use it to spray with? Yes. Almost certainly. The issue is that it's going to be on for the entire time you're spraying. So I would use a small gun with a small cup and spray as quickly as you can, because you don't want to burn out the compressor. It's also, if it's the machine I'm thinking of, it's going to be loud as all hell. But yeah, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it. As long as it can get to the correct pressure that you need to run your particular gun, you'll be fine, and most compressors can. Haggis Neeps and Tatties, black limber body and neck, and Tigerwood fretboard. Thoughts? Please excuse me. Yeah, that's an allergic reaction to that choice. No, it sounds absolutely fine. Black limber is a beautiful, lightweight wood, nice to use, sounds great, etc. Yeah, I'd say go for it. And you need to eat more vegetables. Zach Ellison, a Crimson member, says, why hasn't anyone made fret nibs like Gibson does out of wood or something else? Because wood would just, in the first good session of playing, wood nibs like that would probably just clip off due to grain, etc. Plastic is nice and strong and stays there. But also, there is absolutely no point to those nibs other than, hey, we did it like this 70 years ago. So, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. Okay. Yeah. Avondized says, writing to you from Ubuntu Systems and Network Tech here, your Windows 10 is likely doing updates. So it did update just before it updated and restarted this afternoon. So that may well just be the issue. I really hate it. I really, really hate this. Okay, anyway, yes, Ben Time, and it's terrible. I'm sorry. Okay. Liam says, hi Ben, the early 1970s SGs feature no neck angle. Any idea how they did this with the tunematic bridges? Would they have carved the body and set them in deeper? The tunematic bridge itself was probably just a much smaller tunematic, if I recall correctly. So the ones today are fairly tall, and it was just a smaller bridge, basically. Homegrown Son, does Crimson offer bodies and necks like Warmouth so members can order from you instead? Yes, absolutely. We do a full custom range. Anything that you could want, we could build. And then on the website, there are Strat type, Tele types, Les Pauls, PRSs, fanfret multi-scales, etc, etc. Check it out. Go to crimsonguitars.com and search kit guitars. Okay, Real KH says, so guys, I called it a day. I have to take my daughter to bed. I have to get my daughter in her bed. Had been nice like always. Thanks, Ben. It's an absolute pleasure. I am going to say... Oh, Richard Garnish says the neck is set really high, i.e. shallow pocket on those SGs. That is a... yes, that's cool. I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you very much for sticking with us. I apologise profusely for the shit quality of this whole stream. And we're there. Josh Paul, chocolate bar. I'm building a bass and have acquired a Kramer aluminium neck. Wow. Unfortunately, it didn't come with bolts. Gibson/Kramer didn't have any advice. How can I find the correct bolts? What you can do is drill out the I'm presuming that there's threaded... Okay, two options. You can... That's my alarm to tell me to put the chickens away. There are tools to measure the thread. Okay, most engineering supply houses will probably have one actually there so you can figure it out. I literally this afternoon was at a company called Winton Fasteners buying threaded rod. And they will probably have a huge selection of bolts, and just go there with the neck and say, hey, can you help me find something that fits this? They'll help you. Alternatively, drill it out and re-tap it for a bolt that you know the size of, M6 or whatever. You'd need a slightly larger bolt, but it would work. And that is it. I really am going to say good night. Good night, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. I really appreciate your support, and I love the fact that you were all going to go away from here after smashing the like button and or liking the smash button, shall we say, and have a good weekend. I'm fried now, utterly fried. Thank you, Matthias Lindgren. I really appreciate it. You're the man.